why would some embryos arrest between day 2 and 5? What are some common causes for that process just stopping?
Well, what's happening during when it first fertilizes and the sperm penetrates the egg, or we do ICSI and drop a sperm off in the egg, it's living on its maternal reserve. So like, I had a protein shake at lunch. That's my protein. My body's living off of the amino acids and stuff from that protein, right? Well, in the egg, all of those proteins and all that metabolism is into the egg. What happens between day 3 and day 5 is what we call genome activation. And so the egg says, hey, I'm going to turn on my genome, and the embryo has to start producing its own proteins, taking the DNA and the RNA, making the amino acids. So it starts its own metabolisms. And every now and then that system just isn't in place, isn't in check. And so it's kind of a natural selection of embryos. Like if you imagine if every single embryo that fertilized became a baby, there would almost be too many babies.
Right.
Very much like if every acorn on a tree became a tree, there would be too many trees. So it's kind of a natural way to not let every embryo actually make it to that point. It's nothing we're doing. It's nothing wrong with the patient. It's just nature, and we're just doing the best we can with what we have.
I love that idea. I also haven't heard it described that way. And I love the idea of how now it's almost like the embryo has to sort of kind of form its own like mini placenta to start to feed it before it actually does the rest of its process. I see this with clients, not all the time, but sometimes. And I think it's something that becomes very challenging for women to not let the fact that there is that stall in growth become about them. And so I love that you say, it's not really anything we could do differently, because it's so easy to start to blame our bodies on things not working, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I think it's important to look at it that way. I always look at like, I'm just here to help the process go along, and that's what I love about this field too, is that you think about when I had pregnancy rates of 10% when I was, 22, 23 years old, to have pregnancy rates, exceeding 60% today is just incredible. But we don't have those big spikes and increases in rates. We try to throw technology at things to try to just squeeze out a percent here, a percent there. But really, at what cost? At what cost are you throwing technology at something for what's the benefit down the line?
Right.
And so, just sometimes it's just, I love learning how the embryos grow. We talk about, those things I was going to say, beta HCG. The only way that that's made in the body is from that embryo.
Yeah.
You can actually test the media that the embryos are growing in, and there's actually beta HCG in there. That embryo is already making beta HCG. And so who knows, maybe I think that's where we're looking at non-invasive measures of looking what is the best embryo to transfer, what's the most possible to be genetically euploid, genetically normal. So, we try to come up with new devices, new machines like AI, and robotics is really a big push on robotics and things like that. And being a gray hair guy, I don't want to poo-poo anything. I want to be part of the development of those things. But I think people should cautiously, before you start implementing things, is there a benefit from it?
Yeah.
And what a lot of labs do is like one lab will get like this special scope or something, or start using an AI. What other centers do is they'll start doing it too, to be competitive with their peers. So, but there's really no benefit to the patient. And so they're being charged for that.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we're doing at our Pozitif network, we've been adding things to it. Like we've been adding technology to air filtration, ICSI, genetic testing, special countertops, special devices, special sperm preparation methods. And what we're trying to do now is figure out which ones actually matter the most and if we can take things away. Most people want to fix problems by adding things to it, adding procedures. But can you take anything away?